Texas and in Ohio who are really grieving and suffering today. We ask, oh God, that you give the spirit of wisdom to our supervisors, to our council persons, and all of those in authority, that the town of Riverhead may remain lovable, livable, enjoyable, and productive. And we also ask, oh God, that you would bless those who have who have brought their petitions before this body, oh God, that you would just bless them, oh God. And we thank you for the young people who are here today, Lord God, that they will continue to see themselves as leaders in this town, that they may grow up and continue the good work that has begun. We thank you for your faithfulness, and we give you all the praise, glory, and honor. We thank you for the rain, which makes outdoors more enjoyable. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Cooper.
Thank you, Reverend Cooper, for the lovely words, and I'm most appreciative of Tim for asking for a moment of silence. I was also going to ask for a moment of silence. It was a heart-wrenching few days in America, and I just wanted to say just a couple of things. Yet again, we were faced with a senseless shooting, and tragically 31 lives have been lost. We cannot sit idly by and wring our hands about what to do. We must spring into action. We should reach out to our lawmakers and demand that they reach across the aisle and work together to tighten gun laws. Our country is at a critical point, and there is an epidemic going on, an epidemic of hatred. There's healing to be done, and it starts with each and every one of us. It starts in our community, in Riverhead. The change can start with our town. Social media fuels this hatred, and it's so easy to make an angry online comment that we would never say face to face. I ask that before you make a comment on Facebook, online articles, and other sites, you take a moment to put a face to it. I actually learned this lesson a few years ago. I made a comment on a friend of a friend's Facebook. I was a little mad about something, and a week later I got an email from a cousin that I regarded very highly who was hurt. So I learned from that moment on to always put a face to these things, because we get all riled up and we forget that these are actually people. By just pausing that moment, you may stop yourself from saying something that you regret. We are all Americans, we're neighbors, and our children are watching all that we do and what we say at this pivotal point in our country. So let's do right by them and set a good example of peace, not hatred.
Thank you. I think your words are very true, and I think if you take a minute to think before you act, I think is the way to go. So at this point, if we have Dawn Thomas here for the CDA meeting. John, I think, just went to go check on. What was that?
She must be in the
I'm sure she's
Oh,
there.
Larry's here.
All right, well, we're waiting to open up the CDA meeting. I will do a few, just community announcements. The announcements for today is that the Riverhead, cardboard boat race returns this Saturday along the riverfront in downtown Riverhead. Registration is at 9 a.m. and races start at 11 a.m. So I hope to see you all there. I will be racing against Jay Schneiderman. And
It's well worth the visit just to see that.
we took the trophy last year, so we hope to keep it again this year. The final Alive on 25 this year is next Thursday, August 15th at 5 p.m. in downtown Riverhead. Art in the Park returns to Grangeville Park next Thursday, August 15th through Saturday, August 17th. There is a citizens preparedness training on Saturday, August 10th at 10 a.m. at the Riverhead Free Library. Seating is limited, so please register at www.prepare.ny.gov. You can also call my office if you have any questions about that. The next is the Polish Town Street Fair and Festival, which will return on Saturday, August 17th, along Pulaski Street in Polish Town, and that starts at 10 a.m. on both Saturday and Sunday. This Friday, August 9th, our Recreation Department will be holding a movie at Stosky Park at 8 p.m. It's an outdoor, family-friendly movie showing How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. And for more information, you can call our Recreation Department. That is a free event for all the community, so we hope you'll come out for that. This Friday, August 9th, the Recreation Department is also hosting a dance for special needs adults, and that will take place at the Community Center at 60 Shade Tree Lane in Aquabog from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and you can RSVP at 631-727-5744, extension 27. And if you have any questions, you can always call the town clerk for numbers if you didn't get the numbers. And once again, we urge all of our community for daily water supply is always seriously challenged in the summertime, and we ask that Riverhead Town residents cut back on their irrigation during the summer and hot seasons. And once again, a reminder, all your letters, emails, if to be part of the public record, need to be sent to the town clerk. You can email them to Diane Wilhelm at townclerk@townofriverheadny.gov, or mail them to Town Hall, 200 Howell Avenue, Riverhead, New York, 11901. And Larry, are we up and running? No? Okay. So we will call the CDA meeting, so Dawn, I'll have you come up. We've done the pledge.
I think the only business is to approve the minutes of the prior meeting?
Yes.
The July 18th?
Yes.
Okay. So we need a
Was
motion.
it, no,
No.
was it July?
16th.
July 2nd, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's right. I forgot. Apologize. Okay,
Because it's a
so
monthly it's a
we
monthly.
need a motion to approve the minutes of the July 2nd, 2019 meeting of the Community Development Agency.
I move that we approve the minutes from the July 2nd meeting of 2019.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Vote, please. Call the vote.
Okay, Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
And the minutes are approved.
And just before you adjourn, just to open it up for public
Open up
comment.
for public comments on anything related to community development.
Could I ask if you'd rather have discussion of the session last Thursday now or after the resolutions for the?
We could do as part of, just because we have some proclamations and stuff with the kids, so if we close the CDA meeting, and we can take it as part of the record for
Great,
the
that's fine.
town board meeting. So thank you on that.
Okay, I think we
Yep.
can close the meeting.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So first and second to close the Community Development Agency meeting and open up the regular town board meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, at this point, we will move on to National Night Out. We have some awards and prizes for that. So first, before we start, just so for those of you that don't know, National Night Out is an annual community building campaign that promotes both police and community partnership and neighborhood camaraderie to make our neighborhoods safe and a more caring place to live. Neighbors host block parties, cookouts, and various other community events with safety demonstrations, seminar, youth events, and prizes. National Night Out enhances the relationship between neighborhoods and our law enforcement while bringing back the true sense of community. Furthermore, it also provides an opportunity to bring police and neighbors together under positive circumstances. Riverhead is proud to participate in this initiative to bring our residents and our police force closer together to building a lasting and long trusting relationship. And just for those of you, we have some neighborhoods participating this year, but if you see this and want to participate next year, you can just call the Riverhead Town Police Crime Prevention Unit at 631-727-4500, extension 273, or you can email Cheryl Bear at bear@townofriverheadny.gov to find out how you can host this in your own community next year. So we shall.
And that's
get it?
Bear, B-E-H.
All right. So we do have a few awards, so we'll come down here and announce the award winners.
Hi, Rick, how are you? Lieutenant, I can tell you, Tim Hubbard and myself have retired, actually, crime prevention officers, but Ricky's been there forever and ever and ever and ever.
Thanks, Jim.
I tell you, National Night Out was I tell you, we go back, what, 30, how many years?
This is the 36th.
36 years.
We've been
so-
involved in pretty much every one.
Yeah, right, and,
And I'll never forgive me for making me wear that McGruff
That was many years ago,
but if you go back to 35 years ago, when you didn't have cell phones, and you didn't have really any real computer or that type of media, I mean, it really was neighbor looking out for neighbor, and if you see something, you reported it, and you got together as a community, as a small community, and you discussed some of the issues that were going on. Now, fast forward to today's age, and this is a whole different way of doing it with cell phones and that type of communications, but I think it's morphed into even a more active community, but yeah, I'll let you.
You guys pretty much said the whole thing. Listen,
Sorry about that, go ahead.
We just asked, we've been doing this for a long time, and we actually have some young people here who participated in the opening to our National Night Out. It's a poster contest that we've been doing for a number of years. The posters are up on the wall, they're all crime prevention themed, and you know, they're starting to get taken interest, and a lot of them are right on the money with what they've done. They're learning the world is a different place than what we grew up. As Jim said, it's a lot more technology and savvy, but there's a lot more dark going on too. So we just ask that, even if you don't participate in Neighborhood Watch, that you do participate in being a good citizen, and if you see something, say something. That's all we're asking. Get outside a little bit, know what's going on in your neighborhood, know what's going on in your community. That's pretty much the whole gist of Neighborhood Watch and crime prevention. If you are interested in developing a Neighborhood Watch, we'd be more than willing to help you do it. There's not much to it, and you get the signs put up, and it definitely does help, and it brings the community together a little bit. So that's the whole gist of it. We'll get going to the young people. All right, but thanks to the town board for your continued support. Chief, thank you. Like I said, we've been doing this a long time. There's 36 years. If you look tonight, there'll be communities all over the country and the world that do something. So it still has some symbolism. So we just ask for you to just take notice and take a little bit of care in where you live and where you go. All right, so the Summer Community Recreation Program does the poster contest, and the winners are up there, and I think most of the winners are here today also. So we're gonna announce the 5 and 6 year olds first. First place in the 5 and 6 year old is a $25 Target gift certificate courtesy of the Riverhead PBA, and it goes to Abigail Donovan. Okay.
Come on up, Abigail. Yeah. And we're just gonna ask you to stay up here when you're done, so we can take a picture with everybody, okay?
Congratulations. There you go. Congratulations. Second place, 2 tickets to the Long Island Aquarium, courtesy of the Long Island Aquarium, is Arden Falloon. And third place in the 5 and 6 year old group, and that is a gift card to Roadhouse Pizza, and that's courtesy of Roadhouse, is Ronan Cook.
Hope you like pizza.
The next group is our 7 and 8 year olds, and first place is a $25 gift card to Target from the Riverhead PBA, and it's Grace Castantine. Second place, 2 tickets to the aquarium, courtesy of the aquarium, is Naomi Carter. You didn't have to bring flowers. Thank you. And third place, 7 and 8 year olds, gift card to Roadhouse Pizza is Dominic McCuckey. 9 to 12-year-olds, first place, $25 gift card, courtesy of Riverhead PBA, Luke Stepnoski.
There's a smile there, Luke.
Good job, Luke, good job. Second place, 2 tickets to the aquarium is Anthony Mango. And third place is also Roadhouse Pizza gift card from Roadhouse, Madison Marshak.
Come on down, Madison.
Congratulations. And last, we had a teen group this year, a little bit older, and we picked one overall winner for that. And this is actually a nice prize. It's bowling for 6 for 2 hours at the All-Star, courtesy of the All-Star Bowling Alley, and it's Kelsey Saladino.
And there's happens to be 5 members of the town board, so we'll meet you bowling there.
You have to have all you guys squish it so you can say, yes, families can get your pictures here.
Good job, everyone.
Squish it, everybody. Here, I'll move down, all right. Everybody say cheese. Everybody stay put.
And then if you could just like look, okay, same road, everybody. Smile. Beautiful,
Everybody got that picture? One more. Yeah, you okay? All right, guys, thank you
Thank you again.
so much. Yes. Tim, we'll just do each one then.
Do you need something up here?
Yeah. We have to push one.
Just need to do this for the record?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Just wait 1 second, we have one more proclamation. We'll just wait till everybody.
Lives
Thank
in a
you.
pineapple under the sea.
They did something good, you wanted the recognition.
That was the biggest thing back in.
Not so much.
All right, we will now move on to another proclamation we have, and this is honoring Sean McCabe upon the occasion of receiving the Town of Riverhead Employee of the Quarter for 2019. We would like to have Michael Reichel maybe come up and say a few words. He's not only his department head, but also the, on the labor management committee. I'll let you go first. There's no hanging out in the rafters here now.
Okay. I'm Sean's department head. I just wanted to say a couple words about Sean. First, I'd like to invite up his wife, Diane, to join us up here. And the couple guys that were able to make it from the plant, you guys want to step up here also? His co-workers? Don't be shy.
Josh Tyler.
I just want to say that Sean's been recognized for his the type of person that he is. the type of work ethic that he brings to the town. He's been with us for probably 12 years now, and his attention to detail is impeccable. His friendliness and encouragement to all of his fellow employees. He's just a great person to have around. If you ask him to do something, you can expect it to be done neatly, correctly, and on time, always, without fail. Do you want me to stay late? Do you want me to come in early? Do you want me to cover for that guy? That's Sean. He's a great employee to have. He's the type of employee that I think that every department head would want to have in their department. So I just want to say thank you very much for staying for it.
Nice.
And one more thing. Sean did give up an appointment with the retirement system this afternoon to be here, all right? So next time I find out he's got another appointment, I'll find something for him to do. Can't let him go.
Is that true?
All right, and so on behalf of the town, we have a proclamation for you that I'd like to read. Where it is both fitting and proper that the town board and the residents of the town of Riverhead join in recognizing an individual who has provided an outstanding public service to the town of Riverhead. And whereas, in order to provide a mechanism to recognize exceptional employees, and upon the recommendation of the Labor Management Committee, the Employee of the Quarter program has been established. And whereas, Sean has demonstrated initiative and the utmost care carrying out the responsibilities of his position, starting in the Animal Control Office in 2002, and then today with the Sewer District, first as a maintenance mechanic 2, and then as a wastewater treatment plant operator 2, with a diligence and eager attitude. And let it be known that as a result of Sean's hard work and dedication, the Labor Management Committee has recently named him Employee of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2019. And therefore, the town board wishes to congratulate you for being chosen by the Riverhead Labor Management Committee as Employee of the Quarter in consideration of your efficiency and courteous performance while fulfilling your professional obligation to the town of Riverhead. And now therefore be it proclaimed by myself and the town board, along to do hereby congratulate you on being bestowed the Employee of the Quarter Award, and urge all citizens and employees join in sustaining public awareness of this vital member of the town throughout the year. Proclaimed this day, the 6th of August, 2019. So congratulations and thank you.
I could just say one more thing, you know, Sean, I've known Sean most of my life, but he's also the chairman of our Conservation Advisory Council right here in Riverhead, so I know he dedicates his time to that, as well as the Jamesport Fire Department. He's chief or ex-chief or some of us. So he's been involved in this community for as long as I can remember, and so it goes much further beyond just working for the town. You invest in this town, not only your professional life, but your personal life, so we all thank you for that.
Thank you.
So thank you. And thank you to your family.
Yes.
Thank you. And you guys too, thank you.
Thank you to Tim.
All right, all right, everybody come in for a picture quick. We're all coming in for a picture quick. Come on. Come on. Quick.
Just one.
Can we get anyone from labor management up here? Matt? Picture. Yeah, you should. Come on.
Stay right here. We'll be all right. Right here.
Maybe if you move forward and they could get in the back, behind you maybe?
What do you want to do?
Like move forward and they can get a picture. Yeah,
I'm getting back up here.
You guys want to
yeah, move forward a little, and then they can get behind you if they're
Okay.
taller.
Rearrange the
I'm gonna be over here. I can't.
I don't know if that works.
If you can get in between the, yeah, like that. That's good,
How's
yeah.
this? Direct.
Tim, we're not gonna be able to see you.
That's okay.
Come on.
You guys will all scoot over this way a little.
So shy. That's better.
Nice job, Sean.
Great, thank you.
You can't see them, they can't see you. That's the bottom
Got
line.
everybody.
Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. You got that picture, Matt?
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
Maybe because you were picking up garbage. It probably thought I was, probably.
Jim, any more announcements from the pulpit before we get in?
Yes, I do.
Sermon, you got a
I do,
sermon for
I do
us?
have a couple.
All right, so where are we now?
I'll just make one, actually.
Do you really want to make an announcement? Go ahead.
I do. I just want to say, yeah, thanks for everybody, the 300-some people that came out to the concert series Friday night, but I want to just let you know that in Vanderbilt Park, starting on the 16th, again on the 23rd, and again on the 30th, there will be live shows, music in the park, those 3 nights in August. So it's not the end of the concert series as far as the town is concerned. So there will be live music in the park on those days, just let you know.
Okay, very good, thank you. And the concert Friday night was terrific.
Oh, it was,
Yeah,
yes.
and then we got some impressive line dancers.
Jim was out there line dancing to every song.
Yes. I found out there's only 3 steps. It's not hard to do. Just spin around once in a while.
So at this point, Diane, I will turn it over to you for correspondence.
Okay, under correspondence, we had a letter from Sal Mastropolo requesting a stop sign at the intersection of North Country Road and Parker Road in Wading River. A letter from Janine Zelman, and she is with the Riverhead United Methodist Church. They sent a letter of thanks to the Riverhead Town Board, the Chief of Police, and BID for their help and considerations with safeguarding church property during the July 18th Alive on 25. Charles Cuddy, attorney on behalf of Wading River Manor Associates, he is requesting the adoption of a resolution removing an easement of 24-foot wide interior road on the south side of Route 25A in Wading River. And Judge Alan Smith sent a letter of notice to the town board with amendments to Criminal Procedure Law Article 245 discovery. There was a letter from John McAuliffe to the town board regarding work session with Kat. And I just wanted to ask the supervisor, I had another letter from Lawrence Sims.
Okay. So you can just take it into the record at this point.
Okay,
It was
yes.
given to the board, same as the other.
Yes, and he had comments as to blighted property. I'll just make that part of the record.
And I think just as a follow-up, for the stop sign that has been referred to traffic safety, to review that, and just for Janine Zellum from the Riverhead United Methodist Church, a thank you to the Chief of Police and to the BID. There was some vandalism on the property during one of the Alive on 25s, and BID came out right away and helped to rectify the situation by having security around the area, and so I thank them for being so responsive to the community's needs as we coexist with some of these events.
I'll just finish up with the reports. The building department submitted their July monthly report, $94.75.
Bring it in.
Town clerk's July monthly report, $11,148.88. And we received from Peconic Bay Community Preservation Fund the 2018 financial statement. And that's it.
So at this time, can I have a first and second for approval of the board meeting minutes for the regular meeting on July 16th, 2019 at 2 p.m.?
So moved?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Do you want to
I'm
call,
gonna
do you call the roll on that?
I usually do.
Call the roll then.
Okay.
Call the roll, I can't remember.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
I'm going to abstain, I was on vacation.
Wooten,
I was here, but I was probably on vacation. Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Okay, at this point, we will move on to public hearings. Our first public hearing, which was to begin at 2 p.m. It is now almost 2:35. It's the continuation of a public hearing to hear all interested persons for the consideration for various actions to be taken on certain properties with regard to compliance with Chapter 217 blighted properties. Do you want to give a little review of this?
Yeah, and then I'll also defer to what the board wants to do for action. DTA Eric Howard has been handling this particular matter. As the board is aware, we
Do you want to say where the property is? Or is it just the blighted property code in general?
I want to
It's
justify
two-
property code first in general, and then the properties where they're located. And then if the board chooses to go ahead, I want to have Eric proceed with the hearing, but I would ask that you do it after the sewer hearing if possible, because they're standing by ready in case the board chooses to go a little different direction. Under Chapter 217, we added a new article. We borrowed this code, as the board is aware, from Town of Huntington. And what it provides for is an identification of properties, and Diane, I'm gonna refer to you as to the addresses of them, because I misplaced my notice. Oh, thank you. Okay, there were two separate properties. One is 1501-1595 West Main Street, and the other is identified as, 849 and 853 West Main Street. Both of these matters were first put for notice on March 5th, 2019, for a public hearing to be held on the second day of April 2019 at 2 o'clock. We've adjourned these matters, I believe, 2 or 3 times so far, in part to work out a restoration agreement on the property known as 1501-1595 West Main Street, and in part because the property at 849, 853 is the subject of litigation, and there's a question as to ownership. Returning to the code, and again, this is the reason I'm pointing this back to the town board, is under the code, the necessity of a public hearing is required in the event that a property owner fails to take action after a restoration agreement is entered into. Then the town board, after a consideration of a public hearing, may declare the property to be a nuisance and authority to enter onto the property to remedy that. That's 217-15, 115. Also under subsection D, persistent or ongoing blighted properties, it states that any property previously designated by the town board as a blighted property, and where the town board finds that the blighted conditions have continued to persist, can follow a public hearing, also assess costs and take action upon the property. This is a new code for us, and when we looked at it, we realized that the ability to establish a registration fee is not dependent upon holding a public hearing. Once we give notice to the property owners, they have 30 days to come in and tell us why we're wrong and provide what we refer to as reasonable proof to establish why the property should not be considered blighted. In the event they fail to do so, the town board under 217-112 can pass a resolution to establish a registration fee.
What is the registration?
It's $5,000 in the case of a commercial property and $2,500 in the case of any residential property.
Which section allows you to do that without the public hearing?
Subsection D, registration fees under section 217-112.
So, what you read, or what I gathered, was that you're saying a public hearing really is a remedy to a non-compliance of a remediation plan.
That's one thing, or where it's been a persistent and ongoing blighted property, where it's been previously designated as a private property.
But it's, I thought it said, and maybe I'm not reading this, I don't know if I have the whole thing, but following a public hearing and upon determination of the town board, will thereafter be deemed as a persistent blighted property. So where does it allow us to deem something a persistent blighted property without the public hearing?
217-115 is where there's been a previous designation. If you look at subsection D, it states
I don't
any
think I have that
property
one.
previously designated by the town board. So there's an initial designation.
So, but previously designated,
Right.
but, so where is, how do you designate something a blighted property without the public hearing? If it's an ongoing, so if I'm reading that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you've had a public hearing, you've deemed something a blighted property, they've been given a registration fee, they now correct the problem, and then it goes into disrepair of blighted again, and then that's where it would become persistent. But I don't know how you're persistent without ever actually being deemed blighted in the first place after a public hearing.
It's our review of this code that it does not require the public hearing to establish the registration fee.
It's a letter telling them that their property is blighted,
correct.
and it's violation notices that are sent to them after that if they don't come in and respond and come up with a plan to remedy the blighted property,
But
correct?
That's correct.
what does the word persistent blighted property mean? Because if we haven't designated it a blighted property, it becomes a persistent blighted property, but we're saying here that you need to have a public hearing to first determine it blighted.
Doesn't say that.
It does,
That's
it
not what
says,
it's saying, but,
I'm reading in D, listed
that's-
wherein blighted conditions continue to persist following a public hearing, and this is 217-115, section D. It says, where blighted conditions continue to persist following a public hearing and upon determination by the town board will thereafter be deemed as a persistent blighted property. And you're saying that in order to have the registration fee, they need to be a persistent blighted property.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the registration fee can be established after the giving of notice and the property owner failing to provide reasonable proof 30 days after the receipt of notice. So there's a first step, which is under section 217-12 as to the enforcement under this article. And that allows for the establishment of the registration fee. Where that is then takes place and where there's a persistent, blighted property, that's when the town board can take further action and enter onto the property and do the cleanup. If the board wants to proceed with the hearing, I just need a few moments to have Deputy Town Attorney Howard come in with Richard Downs, because I wasn't sure if you wanted to adjourn this, because I know I heard some discussion that maybe you wanted to have a chance to understand this fully before we take action, and I would be certainly willing to put it on for a work session discussion, adjourn it for one more month, because it's new code for us, and have us explain fully the way we believe this code reads, or we can alternatively proceed to the hearings today, if that's what we want to do.
I'm okay for adjourning it for one more month if everybody is okay with, but this is the fourth time that this is
I understand
occurring
that.
on this.
I know.
And I would hope that we would have had some clarity before this so that we could,
I understand.
close the public hearing. I think this has been a question that's been asked quite a few times without any kind of answer.
So we're talking about two properties here.
Correct.
And Bob, if you could just tell me, the one is on the corner of Forge Road and West Main Street.
That's correct. That's
and
1501 and 1595.
And I believe that first notice or letter went out in 2017, if I'm not mistaken?
Not under the blighted properties ordinance. There were notices issued in 2017 because
so this
of property maintenance.
So this is 2 years now, and we have tried to schedule this, and we have asked him to come in and cooperate, we have asked him to take down the buildings, or we were gonna take down the buildings. He takes down the buildings, leaves a pile of rubble there, and it's the entrance to our downtown, which we're working so hard to try and fix up. We have two properties we're discussing today. The other one is the fish market, Danowski's Fish Market.
Correct.
Which the county took because the guy didn't pay his
Non-payment taxes.
taxes.
Yep.
So now the guy's trying to get the property back. And I'm tired of waiting for litigation and judges, and my email this morning said, and we will continue to look at this blighted property at the entrance to our downtown for many years to come, unless we light a fire under the county and the owner, which they can use in the courts to help move it along. I don't think this litigation will end, and I do not agree with suspending the public hearing. I think that we need to act on it. We're trying to clean up downtown. We force every other property in town under the blighted property code to fix up their properties. I don't know why we're extending such leniency to two property owners, one being Larry Sims and the other one being the County of Suffolk. I mean, the County of Suffolk, because it is in litigation and because they are moving forward and trying to get this resolved, I mean, I asked for these to be put on last year around this time. And now it's a year later and the board agreed we were gonna hold off. I don't wanna hold off anymore. Tired of looking at buildings that have been partially taken down and left to rot.
So then, if that is the case, then would the town board like to continue the public hearing, or we can have Eric come in? Because I'm at a loss, first of all, the fact that we have two properties on a public hearing, are we trying to separate these two properties for the public hearing? Should they both be separate
No.
public hearings, or is it one public hearing for blighted property?
One public hearing where there'll be, proof establishing the status of blighted properties under the code.
So we
There
have,
may
they
be a
both,
different outcome with them,
Yeah.
depending upon how the factual circumstances play out, but it would still be one public
so
hearing.
then can we have Eric come present as part of the public hearing, what it is the code states, and can he give us copies of the code so that we can review it together?
Well, the copies of the codes we can review. I mean, as far as what's today, I mean, we'd have to have Rich come back to testify and establish what he did with each property, so.
So do we want Eric to come up and,
I mean, if we're
What
gonna
is
go,
it?
if we're going to proceed with the public hearing, I will have
so
them come in.
is
but
it
I-
at the board's pleasure to go forward with the public hearing, or to adjourn it for one more month and leave it open till the next date?
I would like to move on with the public hearing. It doesn't hurt to have a public hearing. We've scheduled it, rescheduled it 4 times. It's time for the public hearing. And then we can close the public hearing. The town clerk has entered the letter into the record by, one of the property owners giving us more excuses as to why he can't clean up the property. which
Well, I know where you
is,
stand. Is there anybody here from any of the properties in question?
No.
no, I'm not gonna come, he doesn't live here.
So would you
Well,
like to?
You say he, so you're making it one property. I'm talking about either property.
Would you like to adjourn or continue? Can I have a,
I'm not married to it. I don't mind going. I mean, public hearing's gonna find that, I know what it's gonna find because we know what the facts are.
Right.
So what's gonna change after we,
well, I think there's some confusion as to how we are implementing the code as part of the public hearing. I think that's where I'm kind of having a little bit of confusion. I know that there was a question whether the county's, public hearing, whether to dismiss that at one point or to adjourn that. So we don't really have a
well,
recommendation
we
from.
were being, right.
And I don't disagree with
We were being good
it.
neighbors with the county to give them
But
time
Jody's
to-
saying that she doesn't want that, but I think the public needs to know what it is that we're doing here as part of the public hearing. And then the second property, as far as, because it is a new code, and this is the first interpretation of the code, from the town attorneys, what is it that the public is looking at to comment on? Are they looking to comment on to make it part of the registry? You know, the code, as I see it, says that you have to have a public hearing to deem it a blighted property, meaning that they're not going into any restorative agreement, because they have the option
No,
to
that's
go
not
into
the
the
way I read
restorative
it.
agreement prior to, and I don't know if that's the interpretation. If they can enter, it, like when we put somebody on the blighted property, if they go in and they issue codes that it's a blighted property, they can come into our building department to come into a restorative agreement with a timeline, and then it does not go to public hearing if they do in fact do all of that, but if they do not do the restorative agreement within the timeline, then it comes before a public hearing to then deem it a blighted property, at which time we impose the registry and with the blighted
I
property.
don't quite read it that way, but that's,
Me either.
I understand.
Well, this is where I would like,
Yeah, right.
I would
Well,
like
this is-
our town attorney to clarify that. I have a question about it,
Yeah.
and I think if the public's gonna comment on it, they may have a question about it since we don't understand that portion of it.
So
Well, I
are you
underst-
asking to go into executive session and get advice from our attorney? Because that's what you do whenever we have a question of the town attorney.
No, we have a public hearing, within regards to our blighted property code. We have our town attorneys here to present what the blighted property code is and the definitions of what the blighted property codes are, and I think that that's a public session, that would not fall under it. We're not asking for legal counsel on a particular project, we're asking for, information on our blighted property code.
Well, he already
Well-
told you that, and you're not
well-
accepting his
Well,
opinion.
no. Bob?
Today's public hearing is to determine whether particular properties have been identified as, what the code says, we can debate till the cows come home.
That's my line.
You know, but I think that the real question here is if the board is prepared to go forward, public hearing, I see DTA Howard stepped in, I don't know if Rich is available, is he available? So if we can if we can reach out to him and find out if he's, able to come back, we'll do the sewer hearing first, if that's what the board is, and it'll be just a question of presenting what Officer Downs saw, why he concluded the properties meet the qualifications as blighted properties, do they pass that 100-point assessment test or not? And that's what the proof will be today before the board.
Does
But-
our deputy town attorney have that information if Rich is not available?
We
But-
have the records,
Could
we
I
have the
just-
reports.
But Bob, did you not just say that you could determine this property as a persistent blighted property and
We're
put them
gonna
on the
start with that.
registry without a
No.
public
We're gonna
hearing?
do sewer
No,
first.
I did not say that. I said that you have to read the provisions as they're laid out. The first determination does not use the word persistent. Persistent is not in there. It's a question of determining whether the property is blighted property. What I'm saying is that after giving the owner notice, where the owner fails to present reasonable proof that our determination is incorrect, we can make a determination that it's blighted property. Under the other provision, which is 117 of chapter 217-117, that's when we talk about the persistent or ongoing blighted property. So there's a determination made initially after the giving of notice in the failure of the property owner to set forth reason why we're incorrect. So the first determination is the blighted property determination.
And how is that conducted?
That's simply by giving notice and the owner failing to make, remedy it,
And the
or
remedy,
offer proof of that fact that we're wrong, or having failed to enter into a restoration agreement. So we're able to proceed ahead and make a determination that it's blighted and assess the costs.
We do it for every other property in town. Hey, Eric, can you answer a question for me? Were the property owners given notice of the public hearing today?
Well, Mr. Sims was, he was aware of it.
And the county wasn't?
The county was also aware of it.
Okay.
The county was also aware that I was recommending that it at least be adjourned due to the ongoing litigation. In my opinion, it would be premature while ownership is still cloudy.
Yeah, I read your piece earlier this week.
Well, certainly I understand that it's been a long time and people are getting frustrated, but I don't know that a few more weeks makes a difference. I always believe in let's get it right. There seem to still be some questions surrounding this, and frankly, I know you say it's fine, but I don't like having the two properties in one public hearing myself.
Well, that was something that I was fighting for way back when, to have them separated, and I believe it was requested that they be put in the same resolution.
it was never requested that, Eric, you wrote the resolution up, was it requested that they be put in the same resolution?
I wrote the resolution to put them on for the same day.
But you wrote it as one resolution,
I
not
wrote it
separate
as
resolutions, correct?
As one public notice.
Correct.
I mean, it's
So
been
we
a
can
long
hear them both at
time,
the
but
same
I
time.
don't think a couple weeks, you're talking a few more weeks, I don't think that's a huge difference.
I think
but-
that's what we said last time, that we adjourned
Well,
it.
we
And it's
we
been a few
adjourned it-
months.
We adjourned it because it was one resolution, it was one public hearing, and the county had asked us to leave it open while they were pursuing the case through the ownership of the property. So we did it because it was written as one public notice for both of them. And this is where I had questioned to Bob, how do we separate them if we want to keep one open and to hear the other? Can we do that with one public notice? Can we separate them?
No.
So if we close them, do we close both, or we leave, we adjourn them, we adjourn both? Can you do them separately?
We're gonna do the hearing to establish from our town attorney, who has the information from our code enforcement officer as to whether or not these two properties are blighted. Then the hearing will be closed, and you can leave it open for written comment if you'd like, but I think it's time to get on with the public hearing. We've adjourned it too many times, and we're trying to get rid of blighted properties, and the entrance to our downtown is important to all of us. And I don't see the significance of holding it open for another 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I think it's time to get on with the public hearing already.
Bob, can I ask you a
Can I
question, please?
clar-
Because I don't know whether I'm hearing things the second or third time that I've heard already. I want to ask you a simple question. The public hearing, after a public hearing, the town finds matter of fact, and they act based on the facts that are presented, that we know what the facts are.
Right.
That enables the town to do what more now than they aren't doing?
It allows us to enter onto the property.
It gives us access to the property.
But I think, this is a new code.
Because I think we've got a lot of power now,
Uh,
even without a public hearing.
We do. We have the ability to assess the costs.
Yeah, if I could just clarify something. The property was already designated as blighted by Rich Downs. It
Right.
exceeded the point system. By scheduling, when we did the resolution setting the public hearing, there was a declaration that the property was blighted, okay? So once that blighted property notice goes out, if the blighted conditions aren't corrected or a restoration agreement isn't entered within 30 days, then our code as presently constituted automatically gives us the right to place it on the blighted property inventory and assess it for the $2,500. The public hearing that we'd be contemplating now would be to authorize the town to enter and abate blighted conditions. So I don't know if we're, I don't know if we're totally there yet, but we could be, and Rich is prepared to testify when we are.
I think we're there.
So this public hearing gives us the ability to abate?
Enter and abate, yes.
Why wasn't Rich here? Seems like we
So-
should have had Rich here for the
So,
public hearing.
so the question then becomes, do we want to hold this open again because we do, or are we separating them out as two separate, we're making two separate decisions, whether to leave one open, leave one closed? Well, the one as far as the, what is it, 847 where the county has asked us, because they have not established ownership, clear ownership of the property. Do we want to go in and do that without clear ownership of the property? Which, as I said before, we have held it open because they have asked us to as a courtesy. I would be inclined to do that. And then we can make a decision on the second.
The truth of the matter is, even if we have the public hearing now and we hold it open for 10 days for written comment, and you know the way government works, it's gonna be 6 months before we go and debate anything. So anything can happen in 6 months.
Right. And the county does have ownership of the property, according to the tax rolls.
Right, but there's a suit pending by the former owner seeking to redeem the property.
They're being sued. The county is. The guy didn't pay his taxes, the county took it, and now he's trying to get the property back. Good luck, I understand that, you know, people have problems. But why do we have to continue to look at this blighted piece of property for years and years and years and years when we're coming down on everybody else throughout the town? Why are we extending special courtesies for these 2 pieces of property?
Look, we're ready to go to the hearing today. Everybody's set to go with it. But I understand that a couple of the board members have questions or unclear of it. I'm not. I'm ready to go forward, but in respect to the other board members, if I were in that situation and I didn't understand and I needed clarity, I wouldn't be ready to go through the hearing. So I would support tabling this and putting it off.
So adjourn it for 2 weeks,
Fine.
till the next town board meeting?
That's fine.
Whatever the board's
That's fine with
comfortable.
me.
Well, Eric, didn't I hear you say you wanted to adjourn it?
With respect to the county, I think it's absolutely premature, because anything that we do, you know, the property owner, the former property owner, supposing he's successful, he would have had a right to appear and remedy the conditions, enter a restoration agreement. That's something that is being deprived right at this moment. So to move forward on that seems to me premature, and it could, you know.
If you think 10 days from now we're gonna go
Well-
rectify that property.
So this goes back to my question. With respect to that property, can we leave that public hearing open until a later date? And then we can always close the other public hearing and leave it open for 10 days for written comments? How do we do that with the way this is noticed? Can we do that?
They've been publicly noticed to be, in one notice. I think they both have to be either kept open or closed together. I don't think there's a way to bifurcate them in light of the fact that it's been one resolution. But the board can make separate and distinct determinations with respect to each property if you so choose.
I know, but is there a way to rectify this by renoticing it with where we separate the properties, so this becomes, so that we can adjourn one and we can close one, leave it open for written comment, and adjourn the other? This is the dilemma that we're in, because we have 2 processes for the separate properties, and we can't do that the way it's noticed. And I think that's where the problem is coming up here.
Okay, so can I make a recommendation that we do have a special town board meeting Thursday before the work session? We separate the properties out, we call 2 separate public hearings for 2 separate properties, which is what I asked to do a year ago. And we can move forward in scheduling those public hearings for a month from now, put it in the paper, renotice it, do them separate, act on whichever ones you wanna act on. I'm ready to act on both of them now, but apparently not everybody else on the board is. So I would like to have a special town board meeting on Thursday and do separate resolutions for each property, and then schedule the public hearings.
I think that's the advice I had just asked Bob. Is that something that we can do, since it's been noticed like this before?
You can do that if that would help this board resolve the difficulties with moving forward under one public hearing notice for 2 properties. Again, I don't think it couldn't be done. I don't believe the board is constrained to not act under the current circumstances. However, if the board finds it easier to adjudicate the 2 separately, I would certainly recommend what Councilwoman Giglio just said. Have 2 separate resolutions on, both of them calling for public hearings on the same date.
I don't want to separate, because I'm more concerned about the county property
But I mean,
than Sim's property, to be honest with you.
And Bob, we've asked for, never mind. Okay, yes, so can you write that up to separate both of them out,
Yes.
so that we can address both of them?
I'm more
separately?
concerned about West Main Street. That to me is more
And it-
blighted.
but-
Sims property can sit there
But
another year, I don't care about that.
we're unable to act on them the way they're written, so we need them separated out so that we can deal with this.
We're not comfortable acting on them the way they're written. It's not that we're not unable to act on them, we're
Right.
just not comfortable.
Right.
That's
Concur with
what
that
I'm
comment
saying.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And both parties will be notified about Thursday?
Yes.
What, scheduling the public hearing, both properties,
Right.
owners will be notified.
Well, they don't have to be noticed
But we're
about
scheduling the
Thursday.
public hearing.
They'll be given notice
It's just
of
that
the
we're
public hearing
posting
date.
and publish for,
Right.
Right.
to hold the
That's what I
public,
mean.
to hold the
Right.
public hearing.
We need
All
to
right.
be rude.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, we'll call the next public hearing to order, which is a public hearing regarding the lateral sewer main extension for 1133 Old Country Road, Riverhead, former Sergeant's Recreational Center and adjacent former Blockbuster video facility.
Good afternoon.
What
Uh,
happened with you and Sean with these peach shirts? Is that something the school district does?
You didn't get the memo?
I guess not, I wore blue, sorry.
Good afternoon, Supervisor Board. My name's Nick Bono, engineer with H2M Architects and Engineers, representing the sewer district. We had prepared a map and plan to extend lateral sewer service onto the Sergeant's property, which is located at 1133 Old Country Road. There is an existing sewer lateral that terminates on a property to the west of Sergeant's, currently owned by North Fork Management Corporation. In order to extend lateral service, we have to provide an easement, 20-foot wide easement across said property to facilitate its connection as well as adjacent properties to the east. With that being said, the map and plan that we had prepared was amended because it was put on hold, so cost had to be updated. The cost associated with the lateral sewer extension, including budgeted construction cost for the project to be municipally bid, is on the order of $30,220. Includes engineering, construction, inspection, and easement acquisition. The construction work is going to require installation of a terminal manhole and a lateral sewer extension onto the property. There's cost to also include easement acquisition for the 20-foot wide easement, location to be confirmed at some point in the future as to how that's to be routed across the subject site.
How much was that, the easement?
The easement acquisition fees that were discussed, there's legal fees of $1,500 and there's survey in there for $4,500, which is survey for design as well as meets and bounds description.
All right. Any questions from the board?
No.
Anybody from the public would like to come up and comment on this public hearing? Seeing nobody, we will close the public hearing and leave it open for 10 days for written comment.
Thank you.
You did a great
Thank you
job.
very much.
A nice shirt, too.
That was salmon, not pink, Jim.
At this point, we are going to move on to resolutions. Anybody that would like to come up and comment to the board on any of the resolutions before us, to please come up now. Seeing, did you want to come on?
Matthew Glazer, Bold Media. With regards to the Chapter 255 application for the Riverhead Light Show, I had an opportunity to speak with Jefferson from the town as well as some of the board members separately with regards to the improvements that were made there. Following the last board meeting and the action the board took, I took it upon myself and my company to work with Jefferson to understand what exactly needed to be done, and we were able to get Jefferson on the phone with the folks who leased the property at the Edwards property there, and they were able to erect the fence as per specifications. So I personally went to see that, but our council went there too to make sure it was done, and it did appear to be done according to specifications. So I hope that you folks felt that it was appropriately taken, the action was taken, and of course, I did just want to reiterate that in the event you felt that more action was required, the part of the property that we proposed using and have used in the past for the light show itself does not in any way impact those wetland areas. So I would hope that if that is still a concern to you, you would take that into account with your vote.
Thank you.
That's all I
Yes,
wanted to add.
Thank you.
We were
Thank you,
briefed
Matt.
on the same thing, thank you.
All right, seeing nobody else, we will move on to resolutions. Whoever's doing the first resolution, can we take resolution 1 through 8 together? Do you want me to read it off?
You
I
go
mean,
for it.
575
The
through.
fastest
Knock
reading.
yourself out.
All right, can we have a, first and second to approve resolution 575 through 582, which approves chapter 255 applications?
Do you wanna call them out? Like we usually do when we call them?
Go ahead, Jody. You can call
Knock
them.
yourself out.
All right.
Resolution 2019-575 approves Chapter 255 application of Long Ireland Brewing Company, halfway to St. Patrick's Day, Saturday, September 14th, 2019. Resolution number 2019-576 approves the Chapter 255 application of Bold Broadcasting LLC, DBA Bold Media, Holiday Light Show at Long Island Sports Park. Resolution 2019-577 approves the Chapter 255 application of Jamesport Fire Department, 5K and 10K Run Walk, Sunday, August 25th, 2019. 2019-578 approves Chapter 255 application of Tanger Properties Limited Partnership, Tanger Outlet Labor Day Weekend Block Party, Saturday, August 31st. Resolution 2019-579 approves the Chapter 255 application of Garden of Eve LLC, Long Island Garlic Festival, September 14th and 15th, 2019. Resolution 2019-580 approves Chapter 255 application of Riverhead Foundation for Marine Research and Preservation, 22nd Annual 5K Run for the Ridley, Saturday, October 26th, 2019. Resolution 2019-581 approves the Chapter 255 application of Railroad Museum of Long Island Wooden Toy Train Play Days 2019, which is on October 12th and 13th, 2019. Resolution 2019-582 approves the Chapter 255 application of Chicken Kids Incorporated Children's Retail Consignment Event, October 2nd through October 6th, 2019, and that's at Polish Hall. And I think that was it. So I make a motion that we move these resolutions and approve them. So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolutions 575 through 582 are adopted.
Okay, and can I consolidate the next one? So can I consolidate resolution 583, 584, and 585? If I can have a first and second for approval of application for firework permits for Baiting Hollow Country Club, Baiting Hollow Club for the Famous Food Festival and for Richard Baker.
So
Yes.
moved on 83, 84, 85.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
Yes, so Baiting Hollow Club is August 24th, 2019. Famous Food Festival is August 10th. And the permit for Richard Baker, I believe that's a private residence, August 17th. Yes.
Wooten,
What? Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolutions 583 through 585 are adopted. Resolution 586.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 255 entitled Parades, Assemblies, and Special Events of the Riverhead Town Code Amnesty Period. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 587.
587, a lot of public hearings. Authorize the town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a proposed local law to amend an amendment of Chapter 301 entitled Zoning and Land Development of the Riverhead Town Code. Ooh, I gotta do this. Article 56, Site
right.
Plan Review. So moved.
Nice job.
Good job.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 588.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a proposed local law for an amendment of Chapter 241 entitled Landmarks and Historic Districts of the Riverhead Town Code, Article 1, General Provisions. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Giglio,
I don't like it, I'm voting no.
Wooten,
Yes to a public hearing.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 589.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a proposed local law for an amendment of Chapter 209 entitled Architectural Review of the Riverhead Town Code, Article 1, General Provisions. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 590.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a proposed local law for the amendment of Chapter 105 entitled Boards, Commissions, and Councils of the Riverhead Town Code, Article 9, Landmarks Preservation Commission. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
No, I don't like the legislation.
Wooten.
Yes to a public hearing.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 591.
Authorizes town clerk to publish
Okay.
and... Oh, sorry, Jim.
It's all right, go ahead. You did so well.
Go ahead.
No, it's all right.
I'm
Snooze,
next.
you lose.
I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done.
You could do the next one, mine, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Authorizes town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a proposed local law for an amendment of the Chapter 105 entitled Boards, Commissions, and Councils of the Riverhead Town Code, Article 3, Architectural Review Board. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 592.
Diane, just on these, in the circulation for it, it doesn't have to the boards. Can we just make sure it goes to those boards that
Oh,
are involved
okay.
agencies?
Okay.
592 is an order calling for a public hearing regarding sewer district extension for 1716 Old Country Road, Riverhead, the former miniature golf and recreational facility. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yeah, no pun intended, but this will help get things moving up there, that people have been waiting for, so yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 593.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice for a public hearing for the special permit application and the site plan application known as Petroselli Ostrander on parcels located at 420 East Main Street and 117 Ostrander Avenue, Riverhead, New York, also identified as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-129-3-12 and Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-129-3-14. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 594.
Accepts the retirement of the purchasing agent. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
I want to thank Mary Ann Tague for her many years of service. She started in Riverhead in 1988, so she served our town for over 30 years, and we wish her well in her retirement. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Same thing, Mary Ann. Best of luck to you. Thank you for your time with the town of Riverhead, and enjoy your retirement.
Giglio.
Yes, enjoy your retirement, yes.
Wooten.
Anybody can work in town hall for 30 years needs to be praised. Yes, good luck.
Jen Smith.
And wish Marion the best of luck and a sincere thanks for the 30 years of service. It's quite commendable, so yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 595.
This ratifies the promotion of a public safety dispatcher 1. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yeah, this young lady has been a dispatcher for a number of years, and a very good one, I might add. She was on my squad, or I was on her squad for a number of years. As a cop out in the field, if you are on a hot call, you want to make sure that somebody has your back, and she's a dispatcher that has the cops' back when they're out on the road. She does an excellent job. She scored 100 on the civil service test for 2 tests in a row in all of Suffolk County. So thank you, Chief, for recognizing what she does and the promotion that she gets to dispatch to. Yes.
I lost my place. Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 596.
Authorizes attendance of assessor at a seminar. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 597.
Changes the status of an employee. So moved.
Did I miss
Seconded?
something?
Yeah, just, we'll go back, just, Tim,
Did I skip one?
597.
Been around.
Sorry about that.
Here you go.
Okay, amends resolution number 365 of 218. So
Seconded?
moved.
Okay, moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 598.
Changes the status of an employee, so moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 599.
This appoints a senior building inspector. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
So I'd like to say welcome aboard to Mark. We're looking forward to having him work for the town of Riverhead. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, thank goodness. He was much badly needed, so best of luck to him. We're glad he came on.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 600.
Appoints an office assistant. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
And welcome aboard to Kenda.
Hubbard.
I vote yes.
I'm sorry.
Go on, Diane.
Yes.
No, I'm rushing it along.
Yeah, we did.
Giglio.
Yeah, she was good.
Yes.
Real good.
Wooten.
Very good.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution
That's
601.
not her. That's a different. Appoints a seasonal beach attendant to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote
That
please.
has the supervisor seconding it. That's interesting.
Does it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, missed it.
Sorry.
Kent.
Thanks for, thanks
Must
for
be a
picking up the
special
slack.
Sal was in here today to find
Yeah.
out. Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 602.
Appoints a seasonal park attendant to the Recreation Department. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 603.
This, I don't know who that is. I guess
Yeah.
it's me. Is it you? Appoints a temporary full-time maintenance mechanic 4 to the street lighting division of the town engineering's department. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 604.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you,
you-
Ken.
Yeah, it's kind of a little out of order.
Appoints a water district superintendent. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Absolutely yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes, I'm very happy to welcome Frank Mancini on board, who will be starting the end of this month, so welcome.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 605.
Appoints a town board coordinator. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
I'd just like to say that we saw a tremendous amount of wonderful applicants for this position. A lot of people stepped up to apply for this, and we're very excited to have Kristen working with us with the town board. I vote yes.
Hubbard.
Same thing, very impressed with the applicants that came in for this position. We had some really great choices to make, hard choices to make, actually.
Yeah.
But I absolutely vote yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes, and welcome aboard.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 606.
It's gonna be me.
It's you again.
Jeez, it's all out of order. Setting terms and conditions of employment for town board coordinator Kristen Hunt. So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
1 second.
I have to check all of them. I don't open them all.
Let's go with the 15%.
Yes, it
Yes.
was changed to that.
Yes. Yep.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 607.
This approves an agreement with Winship Media for Jazz and the Vines events being held on August 10th. A lot going on August 10th.
Yes.
And on August 24th at Jamesport Vineyards. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 608.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with Crown Recycling for use of the town's parking facility located at landfill in exchange for grinding services. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 609.
When it comes up. Holy moly. Transfer of highway fund balance to procure equipment and make necessary repairs. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 610.
Ratifies approval of excavation exportation permit as provided by Chapter 229, excavation and grading of the Riverhead Town Code to Iglesia La Nueva, Jerusalem, and waives fees otherwise required under the Riverhead Town Code. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 611.
Authorizes supervisor to execute agreement with Riverhead Youth Sports Incorporated for the referee/umpire services for the Town of Riverhead Police Athletic League football program for 2019 calendar year. So moved.
Second.
One
Moved and
breath, that was good.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 612.
Claims lead agency status and issues a negative declaration pursuant to SECRA for the special permit and site plan applications for Petroselli Ostrander Howell House, 420 East Main Street, and 117 Ostrander Avenue, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600, 129, Block 3, Lot 12 and 14. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 613.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute professional services agreement with Kitty Fit Community Learning LLC. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 614.
Ratifies approval of participation in Beconic Land Trust grant application. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 615.
This approves expenditure of community benefit funds for installation of security cameras and technology upgrades to police headquarters. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, this will get us the cameras set up in headquarters that we can then monitor the sites downtown, Grand Trevelle Park and Railroad Avenue, starting the two areas of the phase that we're doing, and much needed, and glad we could use that money to do this.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
So this is the final stage of being able to do those at two areas, Grangeville Park and the railroad station. Those were two of the phases that we wanted to complete this year. We were able to do the first part of this project about a month and a half ago with grant money that we received from the county, and then we were able to finish up the projects to get those online within the next couple weeks at these two items with part of the community benefit fund. So we still have two more phases left to do. We will wait on those until we finish the parking lot on the north side in downtown, but I'm very happy to be able to have these security cameras up and running in our downtown area. It was something that the police department had come to us at the beginning of the year when they presented part of their goals for the year, and one of that is that they had been waiting to put cameras in these areas for a very, very long time, and I'm very proud that we were all able to accomplish that this year and have that up and running for the community to help revitalization of downtown. So I think that this is a really a good step forward for people, making people feel safe in our downtown area. So I appreciate everybody's efforts in getting this done.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 616.
Extends, six what?
16.
16.
Oh, that's not me, is it?
No, you're on 18.
Approves expenditure of community benefit funds for community development agency grant projects. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Hope we get this grant. Yes.
Wooten.
Absolutely.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 617.
Ratifies authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement nunc-pro-tunc with National Fire and Safety Solutions Incorporated. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 618.
Extends bid contract for well and pump testing for the Riverhead Water District. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 619.
Twin Fork Beer Water Service installation. Wow.
Doesn't mean the beer is watered down.
That sounds good to me, no. Twin Fork Beer Water Service Installation Project, 81955, budget adoption. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 620.
Vistas at Bating Hollow Water Main Extension Project number 30139, budget adoption. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 621.
Irwin Garston Retail Center Water Service Installation Project number 81954, budget adoption. So moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 622.
Authorizing the issuance of 1 million bonds of the town of Riverhead, Suffolk County, New York, to pay the cost of street light replacements throughout in and for said town. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
I'm not a fan of bonding, but in this case, thank you, Ernesto. The work that you did to show the numbers and the amount of savings that we can make on this, it's kind of a no-brainer, so I vote yes.
Giglio?
I'm not a fan of bonding either, especially when we don't have the sale of EPCAL closed. But I was assured by our chief financial administrator that this, when we do get rated by the bonding companies, that they look at a number of things, and the cost savings, I think, will be a benefit when they do rate us. So thank you for taking the time to help me get through that. And also, Ernesto, thank you for the charts that I requested. It was very helpful in seeing what the long-term savings would be. I know that the engineering department has been working, Drew and Ernesto, for many years in trying to get all of our streetlights changed over to LED for cost savings, and just because the lights last a lot longer too, which doesn't tax our lighting department very much. So I'm satisfied with the information that I got, including the memorandum from our town attorney, Emery Prudenti, that we could piggyback on Town of Brookhaven's contract if we decide to go that way. So I am prepared to vote yes on this resolution, and thank you again, all of you, for the information and for working with me to get it to me.
Wooten?
All I know is anybody that owns a house knows sometimes it costs money to save money, so this is a no-brainer, yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes, and I would just like to thank the town board for moving this forward. We had presented this as a cost savings to the town. I think that with the work of engineering, we realized that if we bond out for the $1 million, it's a project that has been ongoing in the town, that the engineering department, the street lighting district has been moving forward. But when we can convert all of our lights over in a short period of time, and we realize our savings immediately. So with the $1 million bond, the plan is to it'd be a 5-year bond. So with reducing of our electrical costs, even during the term of the bond, we would be saving $20,000 to the taxpayers. And then beyond the life of that 5-year bond, once that's completed, we'll be saving $250,000 each and every year over the life of the lights, which I believe is about to be about 20 years out. So a definite yes, and thank you to everybody for bringing this forward to save the taxpayers money, not only now, but as we move into the future.
I'm just going to jump in real quick. This is a win-win for us, and it saves us money, as everyone has stated. And I want to thank Drew and Ernesto for putting it forward. They're here with us today.
Resolution adopted.
There you go.
Resolution 623.
Authorization to reject bids for the town of Riverhead and Calverton Sewer District's generator preventive maintenance and service 2019-2020 and extend bid contract nunc-pro-tunc with Commander Power Systems. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes.
Giglio?
Yes.
Wooten?
Yes.
Jen Smith?
Yes.
resolution adopted. And resolution 624 does have a change to
Yep.
it, so Bob will.
Yeah, just,
You just remove the last
one
whereas.
proposal is
Third
to,
whereas.
the amendment is to remove the third whereas in its entirety. This RFP went out last year. There was some discussions, and this is just a matter of just following up. The whereas that's being deleted in its entirety made reference to a budgeted amount for the project, which is not applicable. Therefore, it was part of the copying and pasting, and I just was not careful in
Okay.
copying and pasting.
Well, shame on you for not being perfect.
I'm surprised you have time to do all you do, Bob.
So it should really come out, all right? And
All right.
hopefully with that amendment, it's otherwise satisfactory.
Okay, so I'll call it as amended. So, resolution number 624 rejects bid proposals for placement of communication cellular towers on town property as amended, eliminating the third whereas. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, as amended.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 625.
Awards bid for truck parts 2019, so moved.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 626.
Pays bills, so moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 627.
This ratifies authorization for the supervisor to execute a contract addendum with the Assistant Water District Superintendent. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 628.
Ratifies execution of a memorandum of agreement between the Town of Riverhead and the Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated, Local 1000, AFS-CME, AFL-CIO, Riverhead Unit of the Suffolk Local 852. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Here. Return.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 629.
Ratifies execution of memorandum of agreement, so moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
I don't know. Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Yeah, well, what's this black box thing?
I'm gonna take resolution 2019-630.
That black box come out 6:30?
Yeah, we have one
Another one I'm
resolution to
looking
take off the floor.
It's gonna be 6:50.
I have a resolution to take off the floor. Authorizes the supervisor to execute a renewal agreement with Nexatrone LLC, DBA Black Box Network Services, non-pro-tunc. So moved.
How'd you pronounce that? Nextera, what is it, which one? Nextera?
Nextera 1.
I second.
We
Moved
have
and
to do
seconded,
this to
vote,
a former
please.
school teacher
I know.
because all the times we were made fun of in
Oh,
school
I
by
know, you
the
have to read
teacher
those
when we
Polish
said
names, it's
something
like,
like
oh my word.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution 630 is taken off the floor.
And that is just to extend our phone services while we're converting over to the VoIP system, and it's just not prepared yet, so we're extending the services we currently have. All right, at this time,
So that was to do
It's
both.
off the floor,
oh, that was just off the
Take it
floor
off
and
the
to vote
floor.
for?
so just move it as is.
Okay, so that was taken, and can I have a first and second so that was to take it off the floor?
Right.
And can I have a first and second to vote, for authorizing the supervisor to execute the renewal agreement with Nexatrona LLC, doing business as Black Box Network Services, non-pro-tunc?
Oh, whatever.
I second the motion to move resolution number 2019-630.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Jen Smith.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
All right. That being said, at this point, I will ask anybody from the audience who would like to come up and comment or bring any items up, to please come forward, just state your name and.
Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Barbara Kimmel. I live on 11 Kimmel Lane in Jamesport. And recently, we were up in Maine visiting family, and I feel like I have to plead with you to save the historic area in downtown Riverhead, to maintain the historic buildings. Yesterday, I sent an email to the town clerk, Diane Wilhelm, with these emails which contained pictures of the, you got them?
We got them.
I know, she's very good. But these are very, very vital communities. They're growing, they're crowded, and we in this Riverhead town can do the same thing. We just need a lot of support from you, and I would appreciate it if the town saved the historic buildings and all the thriving activity communities around our town. Our community needs to be financially invigorated and still maintain its historic quality, especially from Main Street to the Peconic River. We need a degreed person with a city planning degree to assist with decision-making regarding buildings and the city planning. I appreciate all that you do. I understand your love for this community, or you wouldn't be here. And I would just hope that you look at those pictures and follow up with what they've done in these communities. I was more than impressed.
Thank you for your comments, Barbara. I looked at the pictures, and some of the buildings are similar to buildings
Very similar.
in our downtown. And I just wanted to mention that the board is getting ready to move forward with a pattern book company. That's specifically what they do. And they work around historic buildings that are already within the downtown and build up the main street around that. So we are moving in that direction.
Yeah, we always have been.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, members of the board. Eric J. Russo, Van Brunt, Jesuit, and Russo, on behalf of Joseph Petroselli, Petroselli Development. I'm just making an inquiry. Maybe I didn't see it on the agenda. I was hopeful that today you would also be setting a public hearing for September 4th on the special permit and site plan, and maybe, did I miss?
Just further
That was
down.
done.
I missed it? Okay,
Yeah, you
thank
did.
you. I
That was easy
appreciate your
enough, right?
efforts. No problem, thank you.
You better take off a half hour of waiting time.
John McAuliffe from Rolling Woods in Riverhead. I wanted to make a few comments after the work session, which I watched yesterday on the excellent quality video that is being produced now by the town. The comments go to some of the larger environment and a couple of specific things. If you follow the Riverhead, the various online comment pages, you would see that Christopher Beatty and I often do not agree, but we did agree that there was a lot of smoke and mirrors, or a danger of smoke and mirrors in the presumption of a Silicon Valley of the East Coast. I mean, I think we would all love to see that happen, but the substance of that was not present, and that has been deferred. I appreciate that that will be a agenda item for the next work session with the Jermasian family and its representatives. And I hope that most of that is not done in confidence. They were obviously trying to have some of the discussions taken in confidence, but I think as much as possible that should be before the town. I did want to comment on a couple of specific things. One is as we looked at the helpful new drawings, the authorized drawings or maps, I am not the environmentalist of EPCAL Watch, and I'm not going to try to try to reevaluate or evaluate the content of those, but the larger question that occurred to me is, so why do they need all that land? If they've concentrated the development in two areas alongside the runways, then the issue of all of the other land still being in their control is disturbing. And one of, or at least not understandable in what's been said so far as to their development plan. Mr. Hubbard raised, with perhaps a bit of a pointing towards some of the things that we've said, noted that this was, their plan did not include a casino, which led to an interesting conversation, not all of which was audible on the video, but the part that was audible was the attorney explicitly saying that the casino is not planned. And then comment from a board member that, of course, if 20 years from now there was a desire to have a casino, then zoning could be redone if that's what the town wanted. What I found a little puzzling about that conversation is if the land is in fact the Silicon Valley of the East, I don't know quite how you put within that a casino that it would even be a not planned rather than a totally irrelevant. But at any rate, that was just the way that conversation went on. What was more disturbing was that the attorney for the Germasians, in referring to Daniel Preston and Illuminati, sought to explain his absence in terms of negative publicity and professional and personal attacks against him, making him decide to pursue his activities upstate for now. And I think that goes to a very core issue that, which was the one of trust. If the representatives of CAT or the Germasians are taking the position that Daniel Preston is a wronged innocent, then I have I think people ought to have very deep questions about how reliable they are in describing the situation at this point. I mean, some things have gone to court in terms of Illuminati, and so it's pretty evident that as a business proposition, they are not credible. The analysis of Daniel Preston's biography of himself versus what journalists were able to determine also raises significant questions about that, and it's disturbing that, and I think maybe revealing if the Germasians and CAT are still basically trying to maintain the shell of Illuminati and Daniel Preston in order to be able to proceed.
So that's why we asked them to come back in September to describe what not just the physical development of the property, but what their plan and their, how they were addressing the issue of high-tech jobs in aviation and what plan was for that. So that's why we asked them to come back in September. Whether that will include Illuminati or not include Illuminati, remains to be seen when they come present to us the plan for actually development or putting, recruiting people to come in and actually take up the space that they plan to build.
I certainly doubt that anyone up here thinks it was poor Daniel Preston. Everyone picked on him and he had to go upstate. I don't think any of us agreed with that statement.
Yeah.
But is it disturbing that that's the position that is being taken by the proposed principal
I
contractor?
wouldn't say that's their position, I would say that's what they explained why he is not here anymore. See, this is where we get
There's
into
a difference.
that.
I'm not sure the
People, I
nuance.
suggest you watch the work session on Channel 22, and especially about the conversation about a casino, as Mr. McAuliffe would like you to think now there might be a casino there 20 years from now. Please listen to the work session and make up your own mind what you think they said.
No,
Thank
I
you.
don't, Mr. Herbert, I'm not saying
no.
that was what you were saying. You were raising it to try to make a point about the kinds of issues that were being raised. But what was fascinating was that rather than saying it's completely out of the question, it'll never happen.
Watch the show on TV, people.
Okay,
Make up your own
I
mind.
agree. I watched it carefully, and I
I'd rather have other people
reran
watch
that
it, make up their mind.
section several times. So I agree, people ought to be watching those discussions, so. And I don't seriously at this moment think that that is what is being planned, but it does.
Then why are we talking about it?
Because of the
Because.
dialogue that took place and the question of what all the other land is
Right.
gonna be used for and why they wanna hang on to it. That's the.
That's the smoke and mirrors I'm thinking about.
Well, we'll let people see as they follow out this discussion next month, and ultimately, I think this is going to come to a referendum in effect in terms of the elections for the next town board. We don't have a
Absolutely correct.
referendum per se process in place, but clearly that's going to be a major issue of discussion as we move towards November.
All right, thank you
5
very
minutes.
much.
10 minutes.
10
almost.
minutes.
2 more minutes.
Last
and
5
10
election
minutes.
cycles, so why would we do?
Seeing nobody else, can I have a first and second to close the town board meeting?
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? So carried.
Let's see, when was it? 1998, so let's see, 98,